So hello, everyone. Today we're checking in with Jeff Ostenson. Jeff Ostenson is kind of a fixture in downtown Wenatchee. He owns North 40 Productions, and he co-owns the Mercantile, which is a new co-working space that opened last year in downtown Wenatchee. Jeff, thanks for joining us. I mentioned before, this is a total DIY jobby on the video, so as a filmmaker, please don't judge us too harshly.
Oh, I promise.
All right. Jeff, tell us, how are things going with North 40?
Well, they're going relatively well. I know this is a hard time for a lot of people out there, and I don't think that North 40 is by any stretch immune to what's going on. But everybody, thankfully, is safe and healthy, and almost 100% working out of our homes right now. We've robbed our studio of our computers, and we brought them all home, and we're doing our best to bring some media home to work on. But I'm thankful that everybody's safe and healthy, and for the most part able to get some stuff done during the day. So I feel good about that.
It's good. And has any of the work been affected in terms of sales funnel and deal flow and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, we tend to not have a lot of different projects going. We have a lot of very, I would say, relatively large projects this year, including some work for the PUD and its new Discovery Center that they're remodeling. We're working for some tribes in Oregon, and we're working for some tribes in Washington State. And these are sort of long-term big projects that are all there, and we're really just forced at this moment not to continue production. So we don't want to be out in the public. We don't want to be filming. We don't want our staff exposed. We don't want to expose other people. So we're basically shut down on filming, which really does prohibit us from moving a lot of projects forward. Fortunately, for the short term, we had some projects that were already shot, and we've had the ability over the last several weeks since the governor's order to shut down and stop working. We've been able to proceed with those projects and move them forward, and that leads to billable work, which is great. Certainly less than we had expected, but probably enough to cover our bills. And that probably is possible for April too, but we will run out of work probably around the 1st of May. So we're really crossing our fingers that the May 4th date, the newest line in the sand, we'll see some loosening of the limitations on work, and we'll be able to go out and film.
Yeah, and I'm sure lots of folks are in the same boat. Everyone's crossing their fingers for that May 4th date.
Yeah, and I definitely recognize that we are fortunate to have had it, nearly 2 months of at least break-even work to do in this interim time. So I definitely feel fortunate. There's a lot of folks out there that are in much worse shape than we are in that regard. But we are, I just spent most of the day on webinars talking about the new PPP and EIDL loan and grant opportunities through the SBA. And I do actually plan on applying for some or all of those.
That's great. Tell me about the Mercantile. So you kind of have a unique perspective because you are renting out office space to a bunch of small businesses, so you get to see how they are doing during the course of the crisis, but you're also a business. So how is the Mercantile doing, and how are your tenants doing?
Well, I think kind of the same thing. I mean, so far everybody seems healthy and able to minimize their exposure, and that makes us feel really good. As soon as the governor's order came through to close businesses, we locked them and closed the front door. We discontinued all conference room rental, all events. We suspended all flex memberships. And then we have basically asked the rest of our actual physical space renters to stay home, but they do have access to come get stuff if they need to, or if they're essential, considered to be essential, they can come in and work. And of course, because of that, that's on them to decide, not us. And we are making sure that the place is clean and we get it wiped down a couple times a day.
Perfect. When I first met you maybe 3 or 4 years ago, one of the things that you said struck me. You said, well, for me and Heather, Wenatchee is like our baby. You're obviously a long-time resident of Wenatchee. You've seen it, weather some bumps here and there. What advice would you give Wenatchee businesses and Wenatchee citizens for weathering this storm and recovering in a strong way?
Yeah, that's a great question. My wife and I both grew up here. We both graduated high school, moved away, and came back. We both own businesses downtown. We live downtown. We've worked, between us probably about 35 years downtown, and we love it. We've both been very active on boards and volunteered downtown quite a bit. I think that Wenatchee has kind of I don't know if it's unique, but some of the things that I value about Wenatchee is their ability to work together, work through things, listen to each other, and I think that those things will all be tested, but those are the things that are going to get us through. The very best thing we can do, I think, at least in this limited understanding of what the world's going to be like in the near and long-term future, is that we've got to do it together. I think shopping local always is better for the economy, and that's going to become even more hypercritical as we try to pull out of this. My wife and I have tried as much as we can to go buy food from local restaurants. They've got great takeout options, and we think that that's just part of our ability to keep things going as best we can. But I think that that's going to be even more important when we try to pull out of this, and when we're sort of allowed to come back to work. I think we all have to take a really good look at the way we buy things in particular. And it's really easy to go onto Amazon and just buy everything you need and have it shipped to your front door. But I would suggest, recommend, and ask everybody in Wenatchee to reconsider that policy when we're able to. So if you need shoes, go find some place to buy shoes locally. And if you need biking equipment or clothing or anything, frankly, look to local first, because that's going to get people back to work faster, and that's going to stimulate our economy, greatly when we're all back to work. So that's probably my biggest recommendation, and I think that's how we have survived other issues like the downturn in 2008. It's just really focusing on our community. Knowing that we're all in this together, and then lend a helping hand where you see where you see it's needed, even if it's not asked for. So just be aware.
Yeah, that's great advice, Jeff. So choose local, Wenatchee, and I think we'll get through this stronger than ever.
I hope so.
Thanks so much, Jeff, for your time, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, thank you very much. Be well, be safe, stay home, and we'll see you out there when this all gets over with.